Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Samp&Chance. It feels like it's only been yesterday because it was only yesterday that we hit the airwaves, but we're back again for part two of the year in review, this being the boxing edition. I am Bobby Sampson. I am joined with my man, Mr. Chance Michaels. Chance, how are you, my friend?
Pretty good. Yourself?
Can't complain, man. A bit of a sad day in a way after the World Cup that we just had, which I thought was absolutely phenomenal from start to finish.
It
The
was.
the games are great. I think Qatar did a great job. Um,
They did.
they pulled it off, and I was questioning it. I wasn't sure if they could, but they did it. But that ties into the unfortunate passing of one Pele today at the age of 82.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Um, Organ failure is what they're saying from complications from colon cancer. So a big shout out to Pele and everything that he's ever contributed to this great world of soccer or football, whatever you want to call it. Um,
Yep. Rest in peace. One of the
yeah,
one of the greats.
well, one of the greats, man. I mean, overall, the only man to ever win three World Cups. He played in the NSA. He actually played here in Vancouver,
Yeah, I know. I heard about that.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, he's truly going to be missed. Kind of that one kind of came out of left field a little bit. I wasn't
Well, he
expecting to
is
see
82,
that.
but yeah, it still sucks.
Yeah, but I didn't expect it. I mean, I heard that he wasn't feeling well. I didn't realize what it was. So it kind of took me by surprise a little bit. Just you know, just considering. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
Um, So yeah, so big shout out to Pele and our deepest condolences to his family and those closest to him. May he rest in peace. And that
Yeah.
being said, let's get on with the boxing show. Before we get into the awards, I thought maybe we talk a little bit of Gervonta Davis and some of the nonsense he's kidding himself into now. Yesterday he was arrested for domestic battery. This is the second time in a year that he's done this now. This puts the fight in January 7th in jeopardy, and a deleted tweet, which has kind of surfaced a little bit. I can't quote it exactly, but something along the lines of him basically saying, I don't know if I want to do this, I don't know this or that, like all that kind of self-doubt. What do you make of this situation?
He's a low life scumbag. You know, walks like a duck, talks like a duck. Ain't a mongoose. The guy's done it twice. He obviously is guilty. The cops are not just arresting him for no reason. The woman called the police. She was being assaulted. He's a scumbag. He should have his license suspended, just like Mike Tyson did, and all the other guys that have done despicable things like that. This is a second time. First time you can say, forgive the guy. When you do it again, repeat offender, there's no excuse for putting your hands on a woman or abusing a woman, especially when you're a pro fighter. He's a little guy, but he still has deadly hands. He's a terrible guy. I have to say it like it is. He's a good boxer, but he's a horrible human being.
Fair enough, fair enough.
I mean,
Okay,
think
well,
about that. If that was your daughter's husband, what would you be saying about a guy doing that, right?
I mean, first off, I don't think I'd let it even get to the point where the cops would come. I mean, Javante Davis or not, someone hits my daughter, I'm coming at you hard.
Exactly. So think about the father of this lady that's been assaulted by him twice, and I think they should suspend him for a bit and take his license away. This fight shouldn't happen on the 7th, at least.
Yeah,
I don't know
yeah,
if it's going to, but he's a despicable guy. And then he had the audacity to tweet after he got out of jail. Some people are going to love me, some people are going to hate me. Dude, you're horrible what you did. He's trying to like downplay it,
yeah.
saying
I
haters
know.
are going to hate. No, dude, you're a woman beater.
I think it's one thing
I
beating
don't get
up
it.
your woman in the regular sense. Like I don't even know what the regular sense would be, but
There
when
is no
you're
regular sense.
but
Yeah.
when you're a professional fighter and you beat up a woman, that's just that's a tough one, right? I
The
mean,
lowest of the low.
it's wrong on any level. I'll say it,
Absolutely.
right? It's wrong on any level. Um, to strike a child or to strike a woman, in my opinion.
Off
That's just
limits.
me.
Absolutely.
But if you're a professional fighter and you're beating up your woman, I mean, you're beating her up with skill.
Yeah.
I don't know how else to say that. Like it's just that's even worse than me or you hitting a woman. You know, not to say that we don't pack a punch or anything. We do have power, but we don't have that skill set to make it, count.
Yeah. And you know, he's a little guy. He still hits hard, right?
I guess. Hey,
Yeah. So
regardless, I
I
mean,
mean, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't see him fighting on the 7th, but you know what's going to happen in 6 months? We'll forget about it. They'll forgive him. They'll cheer him. He'll say haters are gonna hate, and he'll march on like Mike Tyson marched on after he raped that girl, and he's just one of the bad guys. He's just a bad guy.
Mike did his time though,
He deserved his time. Yeah, he did 3-4 years, whatever it was.
right?
He's still registered as a sex offender, right? Because it's what he did.
No, I get it. I
And
mean,
we kind of praise him. Like he's an amazing boxer. We kind of praise him as a great guy. Well, Mike is not a great guy for what doing that. There's no excuse for that. What he did,
well,
right?
no, I'm not. There is no excuse for what he did. But at the same time, you gotta give the man credit. He reinvented himself. He's come
Yeah,
out
no, he did. He's reinvented
as a better
himself.
person, and that's all you kind of hope for, right? Like this is where second chances kind of come into play. I mean, really, after that incident, after he served his time, Tyson's been pretty straight up, man. Like, I mean, he's
Yeah, he's been pretty good, but still, to do something so heinous and animalistic like that, you're not
I
a
get
good
it.
person. Even though
No,
you've been good since, it's still to do something
yeah,
like that is. I'm glad he got a second chance. He paid his debt to society, but these are not good guys.
but the
They might
fact of the
smile on the
matter is,
camera, but
a lot of these guys don't pay their debts to society. Mike was made.
yeah, he did. He did his time.
Mike was one of very few individuals of any stature, celebrity stature, that's actually faced a consequence for those kinds of actions,
He did. Yep.
right?
Still a bad guy though.
No, I'm not.
Like
I'm
he's
not.
funny. He smokes weed. And he's cool. And he's the voice, and he's funny and stuff. But still, I can't ever cheer the guy or really support the guy just because I know I've read. You got to read what he did and get into the details of it. It's just nasty stuff what he did, and that's why I've never cared for the guy. Amazing boxer, don't get me wrong, funny guy, but I just can't support a guy that rapes women. Just can't do it.
Look, man, it's deplorable. I get it. I'm
Yeah.
100% behind you. But I think that a lot of these guys that are doing these things with a name need to face consequences as well.
Oh,
And I think
sure
that's
they
my
do.
argument, that
I agree with you.
they're not facing any consequences. None of them do. Right? I mean, if you think about it, this is probably one time where the girl actually called the police. How many? I'm pretty sure this has happened a few other times where no one
Oh,
was called,
absolutely. Yeah.
right? So, it is what it is, man. It's an unfortunate way.
I don't think the fight will happen on the 7th, but he'll fight in a few months.
Well, I mean, the fight after that would be against what do you call it?
Yeah.
Yeah, Ryan Garcia. That's the fight that's going to be happening next, right? So, I mean, let's see.
It's going to be a hard fight to sell because the press conference, I mean, so did you do this to your woman? What happened here? It's your second time. Like, Tank's going to get hammered by the meeting, which you should. They should hammer the heck out of him for that.
Well, but like you said, by the time April rolls around, I think everyone's going to forget.
Oh, yeah. There are already people on Twitter defending him. We got you, Tank. We love you, bro. Let haters hate. The guy has assaulted his woman twice. So how can you guys defend that? But they are. It's crazy. Sick people.
The guys defending him are the guys that do the same thing.
Yeah, that's a good point.
It's a circle that you roll in. If you're rolling with a bunch of dudes who beat up their women, of course they're going to support you. Right? Like, oh, what happened? Oh, I slapped my bitch. Oh, okay. And not even a glance or a nod to it, right? Like, it's so commonplace. That's just a part of the culture.
Yeah, it's
so
I don't know what he's thinking. He's an elite level talent to be doing this kind of stuff is just silly.
Yeah, like, I mean, I'm sure there's a few women out there who deserve a good smack, but that being said, it shouldn't happen.
You just don't do it. Yeah,
you just don't do it, right? And but anyways, let's move on, man, because I mean, I think we can kill an hour just talking about the bullshit that's in the sport that we love. So very much like yesterday, Mr. Michaels, why don't we kind of run down a list of who we thought was who for the year of 2022? Hey, I made that rhyme. That was pretty cool, actually. So let's start with male boxer of the year. I was kind of torn here, but my final decision was this. I pick Devin Haney as my boxer of the year. Now, I looked at it from this perspective. You have Devin Haney, Dimitri Bivol, the Charlo brother. Is it Jermel or Jamal?
Jermel, yeah.
Jermel. And I was looking at Noah as my list to kind of
that's a good everything. List.
Now I picked the first, outside of Dimitri, the other three are all undisputed champions. The only three undisputed champions exiting the year 2022. Jermel hasn't defended the titles. He's won them, but he hasn't defended them. Now he's broke his hand. Now that, right? Now he's broken his hand, and now we're looking at a delay in his fight with Zoo. I know I just kind of won the belts, right? So there's really not much there. I picked Devin Haney over Dmitry Bivol for this fact, the fact that his fights leading up to this, he defeated world champions.
Mhm.
Going into the fight with George Kambosos on foreign soil, an away game, if you call it,
Twice.
twice, won it and defended it in the same
Yeah,
week,
it's a good pick.
right? So for me, I would have to say Devin Haney is not getting enough credit for what he's accomplished this year, what he's accomplished over the last couple of years. And and Dimitri Bivol isn't that far behind him, but I myself went with Devin Haney. What about you?
I went with Bivol just because of the huge upset he did over Canelo, pound for pound king at the time, #1 ranked in the world. Upset him, gave him a boxing school of boxing class, and then he went on to beat Ramirez. Same kind of fight, he dominated him. So I went with Bivol just because of that. He's a little bit of an unknown before he beat Canelo. Like he was known, but not on that level.
Yeah.
My second pick was Haney. You could go either way. Both picks are very good picks, but I gave the edge to Bivol. But I totally agree with everything he said about Haney. Undisputed went to Australia twice and whooped Kambosos twice. So I went Dimitri Bivol, but it was close. Between those two were my two guys.
No, fair enough, fair enough. I can't go wrong with either pick, man. And
Yeah.
I do have Bivol on my list later on here. Next category, women's boxer of the year. For me, it was a no-brainer. I mean, well, I was kind of torn. I was kind of gearing up between Alicia Baumgartner,
Mhm.
who beat Michaela Mayer this past summer, but also on that same guard, he had Savannah Marshall versus Clarissa Shields. And just based on that fight and just based on what Clarissa has done this year, I picked Clarissa Shields to be my female boxer of the year. She avenged the one loss that she had against her name, mind be it in the amateurs against Savannah Marshall, who is an extraordinary boxer. She's a knockout artist for women. So I thought that was, probably my pick would have to be Clarissa, just because the way she boxed in that match, just showing her vast skill set and just kind of pulling new things out that we hadn't seen before. So I went with that as my female.
I went with her too. It's pretty much a slam dunk on the women's side. I mean, I think it has to be her. She's like everything that you just said. Great fight. Best women's fight of the year, probably.
Yeah.
Clarissa Shields is the women fight of the year, in my opinion.
Yeah. Fight of the year. I passed the mic to you. Who do you have? I don't think you and I are going to agree on this or have the same one. So
I had two. I had Lee Wood versus Michael Conlan just because of all the knockouts. He went through the ropes, obviously that famous knockout, March 22nd. And then I had Bivol versus Canelo just because of he was one pound for pound, #1 king of the world, and then Bivol demolished him. So #1 pick, Lee Wood, Michael Conlan is my fight of the year with a close second to Bivol and Canelo. Who'd you get?
I went with the ladies again, bro. I went with the ladies here. I went Amanda Serrano versus Katie Taylor, Madison Square Garden this past summer. Yes, I picked a girls' fight for fight of the year, but it delivered on every level. These girls, it took a while to get the girls in the ring to get it all sorted out and done. But once those two were in the ring, man, those style clashing together was such a beautiful piece of art. Those girls worked their asses off. They went back and forth, tooth and nail, as Gorilla Monsoon would say. For me, that was the fight of the year. It was just like a back and forth. It could have gone either way. Katie pulled it out at the end. There's argument that Serrano won it, which is an amazing build up to a second fight, hopefully in Ireland, which they're hoping to get done here. Maybe this summer we'll see it again. But yeah, I picked Katie Taylor versus Amanda Serrano for my fight of the year.
Yeah, I went Lee Wood, Michael Conlan just because of all the knockdowns and the knockout through the ropes, falling through into the crowd.
Yeah. Well, I mean that kind of goes right into the next one here, knockout of the year, and for me it was Lee Wood, right? So I have Lee Wood as my knockout of the year.
Me too.
That fight was phenomenal as well. Don't get me wrong; it was action packed. But that knockout in the 11th, man, wow,
unreal. Yeah, the same with the knockout of the year right there.
Right on, man. All right, upset of the year. Again, I told you I would have Dmitry Bivol on my list here at some point.
Yeah, I got that too over Canelo.
And this is where it came in completely. I mean, I think the whole Alvarez camp, I think the boxing world in general just kind of poo-pooed on Dmitry Bivol and didn't give him much of a chance at all, which makes it even more spectacular. We've talked about it at length on the show when the fight actually happened. In retrospect, I did go back and I watched it again last night just to confirm in my mind if this was the upset of the year, if this was potentially, and it truly was. I mean, Canelo was out, like, I mean, granted, they gave him what was it, 4 to 5 rounds to Canelo.
They gave him like 5, yeah. I couldn't believe that.
And I couldn't either. Like I went back and I think I'll be generous when I say 9 rounds to 3. I think in essence it was 10-2 Dimitri overall. Yeah. But I mean, you know what? I mean, it was Mexican. It was Mexican. The Cinco de Mayo,
Independence Day, yeah.
No. It was Cinco de Mayo.
Independence Cinco de Mayo, yeah. Mexican Independence Day.
Independence Day was Triple G.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Right. So I'm looking at that as the upset of the year. I mean, he just outboxed him.
Canelo always gets the judges' favor, just like Mayweather does. For some reason, the judges love Canelo and Mayweather, so you don't want to go on the scorecards of these guys.
And, no, you can't.
If Canelo would have won the 12th round, this thing would have been a draw. But that would have been insane. So the judges got it right, but barely.
Well, I mean, if there was one place where if he did win that fight, there wouldn't be any riots or anything because all the Mexican and Latin American people would just be celebrating it anyways, right?
Yes.
I mean, you just take the win as it is, even though your guy fucking totally got outboxed.
Right? Yeah, I know that's definitely upset of the year, hands down.
All right. And you know what? This one's a really interesting one. I have promotion of the year. Promotion of the year. So this is between Top Rank, Showtime, and DAZN, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Those would be your big 3. I went Top Rank.
So did I. Yeah.
I went Top Rank. I think one of the reasons I went Top Rank is, and this is something you put in my head, the stable that those guys have is
a good stable
next to none, right? So the stable is good. And a lot of the fights that we got to see this year from Top Rank were on regular television. And these were good fights. And these were great fights that they were putting on. Granted, they were on ESPN Plus, but I guess living in Canada, we don't have ESPN Plus.
We don't know.
So because of that, we get a lot of those fights for free.
Yes, sometimes we don't get them at all, but we get a lot for free too.
Yeah, we get a lot of them for free. So I mean, being able to watch both of the, what was it, the Charlo fight, Jamel fight, when he fought in the summertime, that was on regular ESPN or TSN for us. Let's look back at both of the Haiti
Fury fight,
the Fury fights, right? I mean, well,
one of them was, I think you got Dillian White.
No, the 2 London ones were on free TV.
Okay. There you go.
But the all 3 Deontay Wilder fights, which were held in the States, were pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Right. But in the UK, the BT box office was the pay-per-view provider for the 2 London fights that he did. But we got the Chisora fight here on TSN, and we got the Dillian White fight on TSN as well.
Pretty sweet to get that. Even Tyson Fury's fight, you get it on free TV. We're pretty lucky.
Well, we're lucky, right? I mean, free for us, we're lucky. If you were in America, you still have to pay your subscription to ESPN Plus. So, I mean, from our perspective,
which is what, $9-10 a month, not bad.
Everything's going up though, bro. I'm surprised if it's still $9. It's probably like 10 or 12 now.
Could be. I'm not sure the exact number, but
yeah.
And so Top Rank got some big fights coming up. We're gonna have Haney Lomachenko. We're gonna have Fury and Usyk. They got some big fights coming here. Like Bob Arum loves Lomachenko. He's making that Haney fight happen. It's going to happen in the first quarter of 2023.
Bob Arum should be.
That's a super fight.
He should be careful what he's wishing for, man.
Oh no, I don't think Lomachenko's going to win, but at least he's giving us that fight.
Yeah.
Haney will be the favorite. Lomachenko will be like a 3-1 underdog probably.
Well, I mean, if anything's been shown to us over this past year, anything can happen, right? I mean, you get that one spot, you get hit once. I mean, that's it. I mean, there's just not much more you can say about it. It can end with a single
Don't forget, they got the Japanese monster too. He's got on his roster Bob Arum. He's going to bring him over there.
He needs to come over to America.
He's coming.
I mean,
Bob
he has to.
He's going to fight here.
The fact that he fights only exclusively in Japan for the most part, or in Southeast Asia for the most part, it hurts him, it hurts boxing because people cannot truly see how good this guy is, man.
Yeah.
Right? Like he's a quality fighter who has a lot of good things to offer
And then they got
everybody.
that young up and comer, the big guy. What's the big guy? The big heavyweight, Jared Anderson.
Jared Anderson is another guy, and they
He's gonna be the
also
next. He's dangerous. He's
well,
scary.
you know who I also like is that other guy from Puerto Rico, Zoya Zandi
Yeah,
Zanda
yeah, yeah. Xander. Yeah, I know you're talking about.
Xander. I love that kid. I've watched him
Yeah,
fight twice this year so far, and in both fights, I've not been disappointed. He was the co-main event under the Jared Anderson fight that just
yeah.
happened.
That was a stat card, by the way.
It was a really good card, right?
Jared Anderson, he's gonna have some big fights in 2023. Like he might get another Wilder. He'll get him anyway. He's scary.
Well, here's the thing, and we talked about this a little bit off the air. I don't know if we really mentioned it too much on the show, but Jared Anderson to me is like finally America's producing some new heavyweights.
We got Deontay Wilder, but yeah,
Well, I mean, I would pick Jared Anderson to be more of a complete boxer
yeah,
over Deontay Wilder,
yeah.
right?
Wilder's
You know,
just a power puncher, but
he's a
it's like
great power
crazy.
puncher, but this guy can box and he's a heavyweight, right? So, I mean, guys like Tyson Fury, this and that, if you're gonna fight them, you got to fight them now while you're still in your prime because these guys
Mm.
will wipe the floor up with you in about 5 to 6 years.
Oh yeah, yeah. He's gonna take care of fight Usyk first, and then we'll see what he does. Maybe what happens from there. But yeah, they got some big. We got if everything happens like it's supposed to, we got some big fights coming up.
Yeah, yeah, we have some solid fights coming up this year, man.
And we got to
I'm
give it to
really
Bob.
looking
And
forward to
man's
it.
90 years old. He's still. I know he's got good work, but
91,
he always gets
91.
young talent.
Yeah, yeah.
91.
Well, he's 91 now. I think a lot of it has to do with the name. It's kind of like, okay, if you had the
Yeah, it's not anything like
option,
WWE. You want to go to the for
well,
sure.
it's like this. Do you want to play for the New York Yankees or do you want to play for the Cleveland Indians?
Yeah, no, I
Or
know it's.
Guardians. Sorry, can't say that.
But he still signs their check, and for him to say, "Hey, I want this guy," and he'd still be at 91 years old, he'd be living, yet to be running the top boxing promotion in the world at 91. This guy promoted Ali Frazier, and he's still in the game.
No, he's still in the game. He's outlasted everybody, and you know what? Nothing but respect to Bob Arum for what he's accomplished. But what can you say
He
about
keeps
the guy?
doing it.
Still going. He's still going, right? With the amount of cheddar that guy has in his pocket, I'm sure he'll be around for a long time, man. I don't think, some.
We've seen him on the stage and went to the fight. He's not walking very well, but his mind's still good. But he doesn't move well. He's 91.
Well, I mean, you do what you can,
To be
right? I mean,
expected, right?
like when we had him there with us in Vegas, and
Mhm.
we saw him. Yeah, he's moving a bit slower, what have you. But I mean, he's getting the job done, man. I mean,
Oh yeah.
I'm sure he has good people around him as well that
Oh,
do a lot
absolutely.
of
He's
the
got
day
some of
to
the
day,
smartest people around him for sure.
right? Like I don't know what his workload
And he's
is
got a
like.
good crew of commentator. He's got Andre Ward. He's got Tim Bradley. He's got Joe Tessitore. They got a
Yeah.
good crew of commentating there
Right
too.
now, I probably have to say that's my favorite
They're the
broadcasting.
best.
They're the North Americans' best broadcasting team.
Yeah.
I was watching Mauro Ronaldo, and you kind of put it in my head. And you're right, man. He's a bit too animated for me.
Yeah, he doesn't let the fight happen sometimes, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like I found him to be, when I say animated, it's just like everything was bigger than life. And you know
Yeah.
what? I mean, it's kind of cool to hear it when you're trying to hype up the fight. But during the fight, I want more of an analyst voice.
Yeah.
I don't need someone kind of, oh my God, like everything is off the top rope with a fucking
Yeah,
2
I
by 4
know.
right?
I think Morrow doesn't do a bad job at boxing and MMA, but he's better suited for wrestling.
I think he's better suited for MMA.
That too. Maybe WWE or WWE, maybe AEW should call him up and say, hey, you want to do some work?
Well, he worked for WWE for a while. He was a Raw head commentator. He was on NXT as a commentator. They had
Yeah.
nothing against him, but I mean, I think his mental health and his wellness played a role from his departure from the wrestling scene, and he couldn't
Absolutely. And
handle
in
it.
boxing, you don't got to do as much commentating. You fight once a month. Wrestling's
Yeah.
every couple of days, right?
Yeah, yeah, and I think one of the other situations with Mauro Ronaldo was that he was getting ribbed a lot by the boys in
Yeah, that's what he was
WWE.
saying about.
Well, you're going to get ribbed. I can't say
That's
say
what I'm
that.
saying. It's part of the business, right? It happens.
part
It's
of the
not as
business,
bad
exactly.
as it used to be.
Exactly, right? So I mean, just being ribbed and whatnot, I think that kind of played on his mind and in a negative way that it didn't have to. But I think that also comes down to his mental health issues,
Yeah.
right? I mean, what is he, bipolar?
Yes, he's bipolar.
Right. So, it's just kind of like there's some industries where you got to have a thick skin.
Yes, and
And
wrestling is one.
and pro wrestling is one of those places where a thick skin is a must as you enter the door.
Absolutely, dude. Goes a long way.
No, no, 100%, 100%. All right, top story of the year. What did you have?
That's a tough one. I mean,
I'll tell you what I got.
I think
So,
it's maybe Spence and Crawford not fighting, I guess. But
well, I kind of looked at it outside of the boxing world, like it's boxing related, but it's not boxing related. I was
okay,
talking
let's hear
about
it.
thinking about Usyk, Lomachenko, and
Oh, the Ukraine stuff. Yeah.
all the other Ukrainian fighters, going back to fight on the front lines and to kind of support their country in this war
Mhm.
against Russia. So
Yeah, it's
for
very
me,
admirable.
for me, that was a big story. Like, to and Usyk to come back and fight twice this year.
Pretty
Was it?
impressive.
No, no,
Yeah.
no, no. Was it twice this year?
It was once.
Once, right? He lost it in 2020. He won it in 21 and he came back in 22,
Yeah.
right?
Even
Yeah.
if I think they're going to fight in March in Saudi Arabia, it sounds like
Well,
Fury and Usyk.
let's do it, man. Let's get this show on the road. It's time we finally had an undisputed world champion, heavyweight world
I can't
champion.
wait for the press conference because the man Fury's so entertaining. I just love getting that guy, hearing him. He's gonna sell that fight real
Well,
well.
I think he's the only one who can sell the fight. With all due respect to Usyk, he can't really say much. He doesn't say much in general.
Can he? I don't think he can speak much English, can he?
No, he can speak English, but I just don't
Right.
think he has that. I don't know if he can handle. He can go. I don't think he can go toe to toe with him on the mic.
No, not many guys in boxing can.
No, right? So I mean that's going to be a one man sell,
Yeah.
and I wouldn't be surprised if people start villainizing Tyson Fury over this promotion. Because if
I could
it's
see him being the bad guy.
well, I almost get the feeling he's going to become the bad guy, even if he doesn't want to, because he's the only guy talking,
Yeah. And he's
right?
already
No,
insulted Usyk, called him an ugly man. All that
he
stuff.
called him what did he call him? A rabbit.
A
The
rabbit,
way,
little sausage,
yeah,
gap tooth.
his rabbit. I love the rabbit one. Why'd you call him a rabbit? Look where his eyes are. He looks like a rabbit. Like, fair
Very
enough.
so funny, dude.
I know he's young still. That's the funny thing.
Yeah, he's only 34, going on 35.
Yeah,
So
I mean, young as a man, but I guess he's becoming a middle-aged boxer now.
yeah, I just hope he beats Usyk and gets unifies all the belts, and that'll be the biggest feather in his cap, and go down as one of the greatest ever after he does that. If he does that,
Yeah, if he does, I think he will. I mean, it's
I
just
think he
a
will.
question of when, right? I mean, but again, man, you never know in this world. Like, I
You
mean,
never know. He's just a good boxer, but
and
he's never been hit as hard as Fury hits. Though he's gonna feel it.
Fury's hitting harder and harder with each passing year,
I know.
right? The longer this fight takes to get done and made and actually put out into the ring, he's gonna be hitting harder and harder.
Yeah,
Like if I was
Usyk said
Usyk,
that he wants to fight Fury, nobody else. So I think it's gonna happen.
yeah, well, he kept saying that, but he should have fought him in October when he was supposed
Yeah,
to.
he dodged it. Said he was hurt.
Maybe he was, maybe he wasn't. I can't argue that. I don't know. I'm not there with the doctors, but I feel that he dropped the ball there, and that kind of hurt him a little bit, in my opinion.
No, I agree with you on that.
Right? All the talk that he was talking afterwards and whatnot, and okay, here's the fight. Let's do
Then
it.
do
Oh
it.
no, my pinky hurts, or
Yeah.
whatever it is, right? Like, come
If
on,
anything,
man.
he didn't want Fury to fight just for that. Just gave Fury more, like getting him more fine tuned. The sparring match for
Well,
Fury.
that's what that fight was, right? I mean, it was an 11-round sparring match for Tyson Fury, like a real spar.
Oh yeah.
Like I mean, that's basically what it was. Do you have any other categories here that you want to hit on?
I think we pretty much hit on them all. Maybe the other category we could say is what fights you're looking forward to the most in 2023 that we know are going to happen.
Well, I mean, Garcia Tank, regardless of what we just talked about, I mean, I still want to see that fight. I think it's going to be a real good fight. It bodes well for Garcia going forward now as well, because this guy Javante is beating up his women,
Definitely the villain now.
right? So if Garcia ever wanted to be the light, the shining light, this would be his opportunity. So I'm looking forward to that. Usyk versus Fury is another fight that I'm obviously looking forward to.
That's the granddaddy of moment. Something about heavyweights it feels special when they get in there, especially the
It
weak
is.
ones.
No, 100%. Obviously, I'm looking forward to Devin Haney versus Lomachenko. That's going to be a
That's
great
going to happen for
fight,
sure.
regardless. Um,
And we got Spence and Thurman. That's a good fight.
Spence and Thurman is coming up as well, so that should be a pretty interesting tilt there. Both guys not being that active in the last little while. I don't think Thurman's fought since he came back after Pacquiao, right?
He fought once after Pacquiao
Well, that's it.
when he
Recently,
cut his hair. Yeah,
yeah. So he hasn't really, but still, there should be a good fight nonetheless.
that'll be a
Looking
good fight.
forward to that. I don't know.
There's so many unknowns. I know Triple G is going to fight a couple times, but who's he going to fight? I don't know.
Well,
Couple guys.
we kind of know what the first quarter looks like. I think once
Oh
January.
yeah, then Bivens saying he wants to fight Better Beef.
Yeah, well, that's coming
a
up
good
as
fight.
well. And then who's he fighting first though? Better Beef is fighting Yard, right? Anthony Yard.
Yeah, he's fighting.
Yeah,
I'm not sure when that is, but it's coming up soon.
That's coming up soon as well. So he's got the Yard fight, and then hopefully, I say hopefully, but you can't take anything away from Anthony Yard either. And then the guy can punch. But
And who's Canelo going to fight? You know, Canelo's fighting in May and September. Who's he going to fight?
Well,
it'll be big fights.
I think it's all determined. We would have a better idea of what Canelo's next step is as we get into January, maybe mid-January, early February. We'll get a clearer picture.
I think he fights Bivol for a rematch in September.
Well, if that's going to happen for Cinco, I don't know if he's going to fight this May with his hand injury. And
I think he will. If he can go, he'll go. But
if he can go, he can go. But they have to announce it pretty soon.
Yeah.
Right. So people can make their travel arrangements. You don't announce a Canelo fight in Vegas or
the only
wherever.
problem with Canelo fights is he's going in MGM Grand, only 18,000 people. The tickets are $3-4 grand because he's such a hot commodity. Put that thing at Legion Stadium, you put in 60,000 people, no problem. You put Canelo Bivol in Vegas, that could sell to Legion Stadium, not a problem. Well, they don't do that though. They keep it all at MGM, all in the casinos.
MGM or
Mandalay Bay.
No. We're
T-Mobile.
T-Mobile Arena. Yeah. He seems to be fighting there more.
Yeah, he goes there a lot. Yeah, I've seen Pacquiao versus Ugas in there.
But the reason I think it is, I think we talked about it, like if you go to the upper bowl where you can touch the roof, the very last row, that seat's still going to cost you like $1,200.
I sat actually that upper seat for SummerSlam, but I did touch the roof at Allegiant Stadium. $35, dude.
But see, that's
WWE is the best bang for your buck. I walked in for $35.
No, but I'm telling you this though, bro. If you had SummerSlam, say at T-Mobile Arena, that seat that was $35 would probably be 120, 130.
Oh, easily. Point. Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the reason, and we both know this, it makes more, they probably make more money running T-Mobile than they would do Allegiant.
Yeah, totally agree. It's all about the cash prize fighting, right?
Which is weird. Like you would think, okay, we can get 80, 68, 70,000 people in this arena.
With a crazy environment, the crowd be going nuts.
Yeah, but we'll make more money
with 18,000 people.
At 18,000 people. I don't know. That blows my mind.
I guess, and I like the convenience of the casinos too, and I don't know.
I just think it's greed, man. You got
absolutely just.
You got 68,000 people willing to put their money, their hard-earned money on
and travel from all over North America to come to this fight.
Exactly. Just put it in the stadium where everyone can go.
I wish they would do that, man. I wish they do a big boxing fight at Allegiant where everybody can go.
Your biggest wish for boxing in 2023?
I want to see. It's very selfish, but I want to see Manny Pacquiao fight one more time, man. I know Earl Spence said he won't fight him because it's like beating up. It'd be like when Ali got beat by Holmes.
I read that article, and it makes sense. It makes sense.
It does, but if that's the case, then just do it. Beat his ass, retire him. You'll still get credit. Pacquiao's still a good athlete. It's not like he can't move around.
No, I get you.
Who knows? Maybe Pacquiao will fight Crawford because Crawford ain't fighting anybody. Somebody will fight him with a big name just for a payday.
Yeah,
who that'll be, I don't know.
Maybe Keith Thurman will come back and say, "Hey, I want to avenge my loss."
Yeah, and then Triple H's gonna have a few fights. I don't think it'll be anybody significant, but he's gonna fight a couple times. What about you?
It's wishful thinking, right? That's why it's called a wish. I wish that we could absolve all four major bodies and just have one.
Oh man, those guys are so egotistical. It'll never happen.
No, I get it, but
it would be good though.
But it's just kind of like, and if you don't want to do that, then get off your fucking asses and start making the fights that make sense Stop being afraid of losing clout with a certain fighter if he loses. You know, these guys have to fight each other. Boxing is beautiful when you have one champion
Yeah.
in
So
each
far in
weight class.
2023, we know we got two good fights that should happen: Fury Usyk and Lomachenko Haney. Those are two amazing fights. That they got that right there. If it happens, which it should, those are two amazing fights.
Right. And if those two happen,
And
like for
Bivol
a
better be if
second,
it happens a good one too.
no, I mean, okay, you potentially have two fights in the first quarter that are just going to blow everything up, right?
Oh yeah,
In terms of Haney
Lomachenko.
Haney and Lomachenko, thank you, and Tyson and Usyk, right? Because those
Yeah,
both fights are probably going to happen in the first quarter of the year. Spring is
that's
where
what
I'm
it's
kind of
picking up.
curious now. So now that's what I'm looking forward to, January and February, to see what spring will give us. We should get some
Yes.
more good fights here, and like let's see where this is
And we
all
got
going to
Shakur
go, man.
Stevenson, a bunch of guys. There's so many good fighters, young guys. Jared Anderson. So it should be a good year.
Yeah, and I like to see Shakur maybe strap him up a few more times than just twice in a year. I like to see
Yeah,
him
he's
fight
still
maybe
young.
three more times. He's so young. That's why you got to get your rounds in.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's it. The other thing I want to see is, where does Teofimo go from here?
Well, he won his last fight, even though it was very controversial. So I'm not sure he's going to fight. He says he's going to keep staying in that division.
Well, I mean, that's what I'm curious about. Like, so that's kind of one of the stories that I want to watch for this year. It's like, where does Teo go? Where does Teo fight?
I
And how
think
does he
if I'm the
look?
matchmaker right now, if I'm Bob Arum, I call up Teofimo because he's a top ranked fighter. You got Cambosis, Teofimo Cambosis rematch, settle that score, and then the winner can go from there.
Only issue I have with that fight is I think George might not want to,
Just in
you know,
case.
well, think about it, man. He's already lost twice in a row,
Yeah.
right? Like, you got to
But if
take
George says he'll take on all in any challengers, I mean, why not prove to everybody that Teofimo wasn't a fluke night? Beat him again.
until Haney won those titles, everyone who held that belt after Lomachenko, you can't really call them the true champion because they didn't even defend it,
Exactly.
right? I mean, when Teo beat Lomo, everyone, I thought, okay, did Lomo have a bad day? So then he goes against George Kambosos and George beats him. Okay, did Teo have a bad day?
Yeah.
Right? Like, because those are guys that weren't supposed to lose.
Yeah.
But
Teofimo's
then,
gonna have a big year. They're gonna get Bob Arum's gonna give him some big fights. He's gonna have some big fights. I don't know against who, but he's gonna have some big ones.
well, I think Teo needs to clean up his home and his corner a
He's got
bit.
to tell his dad to step down and get a new trainer in
He
there.
won't. He won't.
Well, then he's gonna have a rocky career.
Well, then that's his choice, right? I
It's
mean,
weird. He seems like such a jerk in the 24/7s and in the press conference. But yeah, when we met him in Vegas, he was nothing but a gentleman and super humble. So yeah,
I
I
tell
wonder
you
if it's
what,
an
man.
act almost.
No, like, I mean, I got to talk to him for 10 minutes. We stood there and we chatted, and he was respectful. He was a great
Mm-hmm.
gracious. He wanted to hear what I had to say, and
I
that's
only talked to him for a
impressive.
minute or two, but yeah, he was super friendly. So I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. Like, what did he say to you? He said, "Whoa, you're a big guy."
He just said, "Holy crap, dude! You could." I think when he shook my hand or whatever, you could crush me with your arm or something like that. I can't remember what he said, but he's a little guy. And I said, oh, "Good fights, man. I like your style and stuff." And he's like, "Thanks, bro. Appreciate it. You here for the Shakur fight?" Said, yeah, yeah. And I said, "Thanks for taking my picture." He said, "You want an autograph?" I said, "Sure." And I kind of moved along because other people were waiting, but super friendly, super humble.
Yeah,
Like he
yeah.
didn't have to compliment me. He could, hey, smile and get off kind of thing, But I became a fan of him after that because he's not what you see on camera.
No, I'm a fan of him as
Might be
well.
an act.
Yeah, no, a lot of it's an act though, man. Because these guys, I
Yeah,
mean,
he's selling
if
the
you
fight.
look at the end of the day, I think Muhammad Ali even admits to this, right? To a certain extent, like, these guys in the boxing world looked at professional wrestling as a way to promote
Absolutely.
their fights. I mean, Ali took on some of the qualities of a Gorgeous George, or,
He
or
did, yeah.
guys of that time. You look at Tyson Fury with all his promos, he's been hanging out with the WWE.
Oh yeah, he comes there. He punched out Austin Theory there.
Right? But just in general, like, you talk about
Yeah,
all the shit that he was saying to Usyk and whatnot. All that kind of comes from that kind of promotional
that's a WWE
kind
promo
of
right
thing,
there.
right? Right. So, these guys have to come out hard and talk a lot of smack and crack and whatnot to kind of get
Sells the
their
fight.
point across.
Yeah,
Like, even the UFC, a lot of times, like, if these guys truly, truly hate each other, then after the weigh-ins, why do they walk off to the same side?
Yeah, exactly.
right? It's all for the
Good
camera.
point.
Like, behind the stage, they're all together.
Hmm.
It's not very like it's unless a Khabib Connor situation where the guys
Yeah, there's a few guys that really hate each other.
truly hate each other. I mean, outside of that, most of these fighters in any combat sport will talk their shit, but then they're together. Fuck it. Tyson was eating cheeseburgers with Chisora after.
Yeah, yeah, they're buddies. Yeah, one
Right.
last payday for your retirement, Derek.
Right. So, it just
Yeah,
again, it's just the wrestling promos, like the reach of professional wrestling is bigger than I think a lot of people recognize and realize.
there's
Right.
influences. Yeah,
The influences are there. Everything is, what it is. So yeah, man, that's it. Well, I tell you what, Chance Michaels, we are closing out the year of 2022. I want to say thank you, my
yeah,
friend, my brother, for joining me on this journey. When I asked you, hey, you want to do this with me? You said, sure. That was it. I was waiting for more, but sure was all that you gave me. And I said, oh, fuck, okay, this guy's down. So yeah, we've had a good run, man.
yeah. No, thanks for asking me. It's a
we,
lot of fun.
I think we just started running. I mean, we walked, we started a gallop, we started a trot. Now I think we're
Yeah.
finally running. So I'm really excited for the new
If
year.
everything goes like it's supposed to go, we got some guests that'll blow people's minds in 2023. People
Oh,
never guess possibly who we
yeah.
might have.
But I tell you what, my friend,
I'm shocked.
yeah, but let's just keep it all to ourselves right now. Let's not
Yeah,
put
we
it
will.
out to the
No, for
universe. Let's
official.
not manifest it.
No,
But what we will manifest for Samp and Chance is that we will be here again and again and again. This is just the beginning, ladies and
absolutely.
gentlemen. Um, very quickly, I read a quick article. Was it WBC Suleiman? Is that him?
Hmm. Yep.
Maurizio Suleiman? Talking about a transgender division.
Somebody's gonna get killed.
No. A transgender division in the sense that transgenders fighting transgenders.
Yeah, I know. So if you're a man claiming you're a woman and you fight a real woman, you're gonna cave her skull in.
No, no,
Somebody's
no,
gonna
no, no,
die.
no, 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 bro. It's like he, she versus he, she.
You have to have the surgery done.
Yeah, I don't know. They can both still have
No,
their
but that's the
dicks, but
thing. So you can put on a wig and say you identify as a woman. That's transgender.
I think they have rules in place to say you have to
Well, I
have a
hope so
certain
because
level.
somebody's gonna
Yeah,
get
yeah.
seriously hurt.
No,
There's
no,
that
no,
one
no.
guy in MMA that was beating up all the women.
Fallon Fox.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. Yeah. Somebody's gonna
And
get killed.
dude, and he's beating up 30-plus-year-old women. Like the women he's fighting in particular
Mm.
are in their late 30s, early 40s, early 50s.
So
That's
what
who
if
he's
Brock
fighting.
Lesnar identifies as a woman, goes in women's MMA, he'll kill somebody.
Well, it's like we've said before, man.
Dangerous.
Aaron Judge decides, hey, I'm a girl now, and he goes to play baseball for a girls' team. He's going to hit a home run every bat,
Yeah.
right? LeBron James identifies as a woman, then he can go play for the LA Cosmo or whatever they call
Yeah.
and
In combat
score.
sports and in real fighting, men can't fight women.
But it's
Can't do it.
happening,
I know it's dangerous though. Somebody's gonna get killed.
and Japan, as much as logical as Japan is, they got some crazy fucking shit that they allow.
Well, they do super crazy fights and stuff. Did you ever see when Jose Canseco fought Hung Man Choi or whatever, that big guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, like they just do random crazy fights like that.
No, because people, that's what people want to see. I get it, right?
Yeah.
But I don't know. Let's not get too deep into this, but I just wanted to mention it. Like this is something that we can see
I just
coming in
hope somebody doesn't get hurt
2023.
doing it this way because it's very dangerous.
Well, check
Yeah.
it out. It's on ESPN. The article's on ESPN. So if you want to read about it, check it out.
I will check it out.
I didn't go deep into it. I was just kind of glancing at it at work as I was supposed to be working. But I think there are rules in place to kind of make it work, right? Like he, she versus he, she. Notice it's the he, she's that make all the noise.
I know they're very loud.
The she, he's don't say anything.
Not really, no. I hope they have rules in place. I want to see somebody get killed in there because that's going to happen. They don't.
No, I think there
regulate it.
has to be a certain level. I think certain things have to be, you have to be a certain amount of she
Okay.
instead of he to kind of pull it off, I guess. Um, chemical levels, biological, like whatever the things are.
Yeah,
But no, you're not gonna get, you know, Tycina Fury going there against a Katie Taylor or something,
I
right?
hope
Like,
not. It's not gonna get really ugly real quick.
I mean, if Javante really likes hitting the girls that much, maybe this is what he needs to do.
Man, as he sabotaged his own career, man.
He has
I
all the
don't get it.
potential in the world, and he's not with Mayweather anymore, is he?
No, he's not. He left Mayweather, but I guess he learned from Mayweather how to do this. I guess maybe it's the same thing he did 9 months in jail for. So I don't know what these guys are doing.
You know what, man?
Bad
Karma will
guys.
get them, and the good will always rise above evil. That's what I've said,
Absolutely.
right? And as I said yesterday, this is my final message to all our fans and to anyone who's listening. Keep working hard. I'm going to sell this in 2023.
Yeah.
Work hard, go for your goals. And if someone laughs at you, if someone tells you that this idea is stupid or hokey or hurting, as I've heard from a supposed friend, they're not your friends.
Well said. Good advice.
Those people do not have a place in my heart. Anyone who doesn't want me to succeed, anyone who doesn't want you to succeed, Mr. Michaels,
Yep.
is not our friend.
Totally agreed. Well said.
Right. So
Couldn't agree more.
that being said, everyone, please, we are going into the last long weekend of the year, I guess, technically speaking.
Yeah.
New Year's Eve is around the corner. So please, you know what? Stay home, enjoy it with your families. But if you do go out, be safe, enjoy it with your families, and ensure that you have a safe ride home, because we want you to be with us in the new year as we break
Absolutely.
stories and tell the great stories that are going to be coming along the way. 2022 was a good year. It was an interesting year. And I think 2023 is just going to be even better. On that note,
I think
on
so.
behalf of Samp&Chance, we wish you guys all a very, very happy new year and a prosperous 2023. My name is Bobby Sampson. He's Chance Michaels.
And in the words of the legendary AC/DC, those that download, like, subscribe, and share the podcast, we salute you.
We do salute you. And on that note, in the words of the infamous Ed Whalen, in the meantime and in between time, until next year, that's it for Samp&Chance. Everyone be safe. God bless. We'll talk to you soon.